What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back. This time we get to talk to Max Rohskopf, another young superstar in the sport of mixed martial arts out of the Xtreme Couture gym in Las Vegas. A fight that was scheduled for this Friday at Cage Warriors 139 appears to be off against Eric Sanchez. Max, you probably are disappointed. You're hearing the news pretty fresh yourself, huh?
Yeah, I just got the call like 10 minutes ago. Something leading up to every fight. I think I'm a little stressed, a little nervous. So I think that's normal. But I was excited to get in there with someone that's had a decent amount of fights and has fought some really good guys. So I was ready to test myself.
Yeah. Um, from what we're hearing, I guess it may have been a testing issue. And look, actually, right now at this moment, I'm suffering. I'm battling COVID, and so is my brother. So is Goes. So I hope that guy, gets over it soon or whatever. But yeah, it's got to be frustrating for you because you've been on this nice comeback trail, especially with Cage Warriors, and I'm sure you want to just keep staying busy. So, are you kind of like an exclusive Cage Warriors guy, or can you find fights in other promotions as well?
So the first two fights I signed were. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the first two fights I signed were just like one fight deals, and then the one that I just signed for this one that was coming up was also one fight. But we were constantly talking with them. Me and my manager, Brian Butler, we're talking to them and stuff, and like looking at. There was a certain point we were looking at other options for like just to go get a fight, but I really liked competing with Cage Warriors so far. And so any show that they're going to have here in the United States, I want to be on right now. So it's not anything exclusive, but I want to work with them.
Fair enough. At the same time, when it is last minute like this, are you even open to like, well, we couldn't find a lightweight, but we found a welterweight? Because I heard you're pretty nutty, man. Like, you'll get in there with almost anyone.
I mean, I don't even know if you've heard it. I think you've seen it.
Yeah.
But
Ngannou.
yeah, no, I most of the last 2 weeks, I've kind of strayed away from it because I just know once I start losing a little bit of weight, I get a little fragile.
Yeah.
But normally out of camp or out of sight of getting ready to make weight for stuff, most of my sparring partners are the 85ers at Xtreme, 85ers and 70s. So no, I'm open to it for sure.
Yeah, folks, I've seen Max grapple with Ngannou, man. It's awesome. And Ngannou gets a kick out of it, and like everybody kind of turns to watch that specific session. So I'm not giving away anything behind the scenes here. Everybody's been a little bit open about it in the past, but yeah, you definitely will
It's
go with
fun.
anyone, man.
It's fun going with Francis. He's a frickin'. It was way more fun for me when he first moved to Vegas, and he didn't quite have the grappling and the wrestling, but now he can, and it's scary.
And so let me ask you something. For a while, you weren't with Xtreme Couture, and now you're back.
Yeah.
That also seemed to be around the time that you had the fight where, like you mentioned, pre-interview, you quit in the middle of the fight.
Yeah.
What has changed since then, and what brought you back to Xtreme Couture? And I'm not doing this to entice shade being thrown around or anything. I think it's a mature question,
When I left Xtreme, and it was something that I had talked about with Eric Nixick, and I had some concerns, and I think just with when I first moved here, I lived with Robert Fallis, and I think when he passed away, from then until the time I left Xtreme, I felt like pretty lost. I still hadn't built like a really close relationship with everyone over there. And I think that was more my fault. I wasn't, when I was there in the gym, I wasn't being open. I probably wasn't communicating super well, and just had some concerns. I decided that I thought it was best for me to leave at that time, and I did. But once I lost in my UFC debut, and then I worked full time like for like 8 months, and was coaching full time as well, wrestling. And I don't know what it was. I think it's just my great support system, and my friends were just like, hey, like if you're gonna do this, you got to do it now. You're not gonna be able to be 35 and 36 and go back and do it. Like, if you're gonna take your chance, it's got to be now. So I got back in the gym, and before I went back to Xtreme Couture, me and Coach Eric Nixick went and had lunch and talked about it. And if he didn't want me and the team there didn't want me to come back, then I was going to be done. If it was like a situation where it's like, we don't want you to come back, we don't want you in the room, I wasn't going to come back and train out of or fight out of any other gym. It was Xtreme Couture or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's outstanding to hear about that communication with you and Coach Eric, who we're also pretty close with as well. Just knowing him through military trips and things like that. I always feel like when mature people get together and just have conversations, there might be some hurt feelings here and there, but it's always the best way, and usually it's the best way to move forward, which is clearly what you've done, because ever since you've been back, you do have a smile. I see you in the warm up, the head nods, and it does seem like a different Max Rohskopf.
It is. I think I'm a little bit more social, a little bit more less guarded. I think definitely less guarded. I think a couple years ago when I was there, I would say I probably had like 2 or 3 guys in there and coaches that I would talk to and be friendly with, and now it's everyone. And I think I don't know exactly what changed. I think I just kind of let go of a lot of things. For me personally, not with anyone in the gym. It's just personal things that would always keep me guarded against other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels good to come in there and have a smile on my face and be able to dick off and have fun with everyone. And then when it's time to go, it's time to go.
And I don't want to turn into Dr. Phil or anything like that, and go in that route. But is that something that was just overall in your life you were guarded, or just with like your sporting teams or athletics?
It was hard, I think, just in general in Vegas, because I grew up in a small town of like little, at the time, maybe 1,000 people in a county that had one high school, and all the little towns went to. So growing up in a small town, I had my best friends from the time I was 3 years old until I was 18, and then having a pretty rough childhood. I felt like I was probably guarded and didn't trust a lot of people and really didn't want a lot of people knowing my business and stuff like that. And I didn't have the best. I had a really good experience, but there's some things when I was wrestling at North Carolina State that, kind of rubbed me the wrong way as well. And so when I moved out to Vegas, the only person I knew was Robert Fallis, and I just met him like a week ago before I moved out there. So it was definitely it was an experience moving out here by myself. No friends, no support system. I was just kind of out here figuring it out on my own. And I think just through a lot of time and, trying to treat people the best way I can and showing my true self to people, that I've found the right people around me that I can hang out with, be friends with. And I think that's allowed me to be a little bit more myself and less guarded, just having really good people around me. And it took me a while to do it, but I'm happy where I'm at right now.
We joked earlier, actually you joked earlier about that incident. Has doing that, they call it deprecation sometimes, when you can just have a go at yourself. Has that actually just helped you come to more grips with that and make it comfortable, I guess, for people to bring it up if they want to, or if not, whatever? Because it is in the past. You've already won since then. Or do you feel like that's something that you're going to have to prove at every level for a while, at least to kind of shake that incident?
No, I think like guys are doing it right now with like Charles Oliveira, even though he's the champion of the world at 55. People still, even though he's the best in the world, people still calling him like a quitter, that he doesn't want to be in there and all that crap. Like I said to you guys earlier, I challenge my teammates and my training partners to try to make me do that. I hope they do. I hope they try, and I hope that if I fighting anyone in the future, I hope that they try to do that.
Hey Max, so this is all so fresh, the fight being taken off, and fighters often talk about when they go in there and they get a win, sometimes really quick, they feel like they haven't even gotten that release because they put so much time into a camp and all that. With there being no fight, how do you get that release? Is that something that happens in the gym? Do you go off into the woods and shoot guns, or what is it? What do you do? Hit a car with a sledgehammer? How do you get that out of you?
I don't know. I think I still might go out to San Diego this weekend, maybe rent a boat, get on the boat, hang out at the beach, do something fun, maybe drink a little, have some fun. That's something I've been doing more than I've done in my entire life, is just having, a couple of drinks here and there. Because that's when I was, from the time I was 17, 18 until I was 25, I drank like once a year, never drank ever. And I think I've loosened up a lot and, go out with my buddies and, play around, have some fun and relax a little bit. That's something I've never really been able to do until recently. So probably have some Fireball, go out on the beach and dick off.
Hey, you want to hear a bad story that George did to us one time?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Somebody gave him moonshine one time, and he put it in a bottle of Fireball, and we all thought it was Fireball. We nearly burned our tongues out of our mouths. But anyway,
hey, you know what though? It was from the Smoky Mountains, so it was literally. It's a listener of ours from. It's a coastal town in North Carolina. The name escapes me right now, but it's a popular name, and it's on the beach.
Asheville.
So, what is it?
Asheville.
Raleigh? No, I don't know, but it's a beach town. Anyway, there's a couple listeners that come from there, but they know somebody in the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina or something like that. And I bring it up because I know you're a former Wolfpack. But yeah, man, that moonshine don't play. I'll tell you that right now.
No, it doesn't play. It's funny, when I was a kid, all of our parents, me and my group of friends, we weren't allowed to we had like a rule. We weren't allowed to go like 2 miles into the woods by ourselves, because like there's like legitimate like moonshiners and people who are like doing the moonshine thing because it's illegal, and moonshine and like drugs and stuff. So like if you go like too far into the woods, you'll run into those people.
Wow.
And they're like dangerous. And so as a kid, we weren't allowed to like go a certain amount into the woods, because that's where the shady shit happens.
Yeah.
Before it goes back to goes, let me ask you one other North Carolina thing, since we're talking North Carolina. What about this Outer Banks? My nephew talked me into watching an Outer Banks show, and they talked about just life on the coastal, that area. Is it true? Kind of like, have you seen that show? Know what it's all about?
I haven't seen the show, but I've been all over the coast of North Carolina. And the cool thing about North Carolina is, if you live in certain parts of, like, if you live on the coast, you're 45 minutes just from like the mountains, and then you're 45 minutes from like the farmland or the big cities and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things you can do that are really close. You got the beach, the mountains, farmland, rolling hills, and then big, beautiful cities. So North Carolina is awesome.
I know the rougher kids are called Pogues, and then the rich kids, they had another name. I don't know. It was pretty interesting. You should check it out. The city was Wilmington, by the way.
Yeah. So I lived in Wilmington for like 6 months before I moved out here.
Okay. All right.
Wilmington's a great city.
Goes back to you. What are your questions?
So the matchup itself, obviously he's not going to have COVID forever. Is it something you want to keep intact, or do you just want to reset and have another opponent going forward?
Oh, I'm cool with fighting anyone, and I've been that way since from the beginning. It's whoever they put in front of me. I've never been very picky or choosy.
Well, listen, man, we caught you on a great day because you're in great spirits. You're smiling. It's unfortunate that you're not fighting this week, because I'm actually in California, about an hour away. And if I got 2 negative tests, I told Graham, save me a spot. I was going to go watch this event, watch you compete in person. But things worked out the way they worked out. I'm not even sure if all clear, but man, I'm telling you, I'm bummed out that you won't get to fight this week. But hopefully things work out and something big comes up for you soon.
Hopefully. We'll see.
All right. Thanks for the time, Max. Really appreciate it, man. Take care.
You guys heal up, rest up.
Thank you, brother. Take care.